All right. Looks like we're diving into the stock market today.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, our listener is ready to tackle this beast, maybe for a big meeting or just to finally understand what all the fuss is about.
It can definitely seem like a beast at first. All that jargon and those crazy numbers can be a bit intimidating.
Totally agree. And they send us a whole stack of stuff, notes, articles, even what looked like a textbook chapter. So we're going to break it all down.
We're going for the gold, the stuff that really matters,
Exactly. So they can walk away actually understanding how the market works.
Because once you peel back the layers, it's fascinating, really.
Okay, so let's jump right in. I got to ask the basic question. What even is a stock exchange?
Yes, the million-dollar question.
Like when I hear stock exchange, I picture the New York Stock Exchange, right? That crazy floor with people yelling and making hand signals.
You're not wrong to picture that. It is kind of like that, but
But it's more than just yelling.
way more, yeah. Think of it like a giant marketplace.
Okay, so like a farmer's market, but for stocks.
Exactly. Except instead of apples and oranges, you're buying and selling pieces of companies. Those are the stocks.
So the New York Stock Exchange, that's just one of many marketplaces.
Exactly. They set the rules, make sure everything's fair, and connect all the buyers and sellers.
I see, so it's like the organizer of the whole thing.
Right. And of course, tons of this trading happens online now on all sorts of platforms.
So technology changed the game.
Hugely. It's not just that bustling floor anymore.
Makes sense. Now, the listener's notes mention different types of stocks, like large cap, growth stocks, all that.
Yeah, the categories can get a bit confusing.
There's a lot of jargon, honestly.
Totally. So think of it like this. You've got your large cap stocks. These are the big established companies.
Okay, like the Coca-Colas and Apples of the world.
Exactly. They're like a big old oak tree, steady, reliable, but maybe not growing super fast.
So not the get-rich-quick type.
Right. Then you've got your growth stocks.
Those sound more exciting.
They can be. They're like the young startups full of potential, but also more risky.
So high risk, high reward.
Exactly. Think of a company like, say, Tesla a few years ago, disrupting the whole car industry. That was a classic growth stock.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture.
Good, good.
So how do we figure out which stocks to actually buy?
The age-old question. There are basically two main approaches to analyzing stocks. Your research mentioned them. Fundamental and technical analysis.
Those sound like totally different things.
They are, yeah. Fundamental analysis is kind of like being a detective.
Interesting.
You're digging into a company's finances, their earnings, debts, all that fun stuff to see if they're healthy.
So it's like checking if a company is actually doing well before you buy their stock.
Exactly. Like you wouldn't buy a car without checking under the hood, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about technical analysis? That sounds more mysterious.
A bit more, yeah. It's more about looking for patterns and trends in the stock's price history.
So, like a stock psychic.
Huh? Not quite. Think of it like a basketball coach scouting the other team. You watch their past games, you see how they play, you try to predict their next move.
So technical analysis is like looking for those patterns to predict what a stock price will do next.
Exactly. They look for clues like this thing called the moving average, basically a line that smooths out price fluctuations over time to see the overall trend.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool.
Right. It's all about trying to predict the future, basically.
So which is better, fundamental or technical?
That's the million-dollar question, and honestly, there's no easy answer.
So you're not going to pick a side?
Nope. Both approaches have their strengths and weaknesses. The real world throws curveballs all the time.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes a company's financials look great, but their stock tanks, or vice versa.
Speaking of tanking, I remember this one time I bought this stock everyone was raving about. It's supposed to be a sure thing.
Oh no, what happened?
Crashed. Like harder than my phone after I dropped it on concrete.
Ouch. Yeah, that's the thing about the market. It can be really volatile.
Yeah, you mentioned that in your research, all these ups and downs.
Volatility, it's like the market's mood swings. Some days are sunny, some days are stormy.
So how do you deal with that, knowing it could all go south at any moment?
Well, one approach your research mentioned is called dollar cost averaging.
Okay, break that down for me.
Imagine you decide to buy, say, $100 worth of a stock every month, no matter what the price is.
So whether it's up or down.
Exactly. When the price is low, you get more shares for your money. When it's high, you get fewer.
So it kind of balances out.
Right. Over time, you average out your costs so you're not as affected by those crazy price swings.
Makes sense. And your research also talked about having a long-term perspective.
Yes. Investing is a marathon, not a sprint.
So no get-rich-quick schemes.
Nope. You got to be patient, Ride out those ups and downs and focus on your long-term goals.
Right, like retirement or something like that.
Exactly. When you're thinking decades ahead, those little bumps in the road don't seem so scary.
That's a good way to put it.
So yeah, patience is key.
Speaking of not putting all your eggs in one basket, your research also emphasized diversification, right?
Absolutely, diversification is crucial.
But why? What's the big deal about it?
Well, think of it like building a music playlist. You wouldn't want to listen to the same song over and over again, would you?
True, that would get old fast.
Exactly. So with investing, you want to spread your money across different companies, different industries, even different types of investments.
So if one thing goes bad, it doesn't take everything down with it.
Exactly. It's all about managing risk.
Makes sense. And honestly, it probably makes investing more interesting too.
Absolutely. You get to learn about all sorts of different companies and industries.
Right. This has been super helpful, but I got to ask the big question. How does all this stock market stuff actually impact my wise life?
That's a great question. You might think it's all just about rich people making more money.
Yeah, kind of does seem that way sometimes.
But it goes way deeper than that. Think about the companies you use every day, the ones that make your phone, your clothes, your food.
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
A lot of those companies are on the stock market. When their stock does well, it means they have more money to invest, to grow, to create jobs.
So it ripples out into the whole economy.
Exactly. It impacts jobs, innovation, even things like how much stuff costs.
Wow, I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah, it's all connected. And there's also a growing movement called ESG investing.
ESG, what's that stand for?
Environmental, social, and governance.
Okay, so like ethical investing.
Exactly. It's about investing in companies that align with your values.
I like that. So it's not just about profits, it's about making a difference.
Right. It's about using your money to support companies that are doing good in the world.
That's really cool. I feel like we've learned so much today.
We've only scratched the surface, really.
There's always more to learn, right?
Absolutely. But I think you've got a great foundation now to keep exploring.
Totally agree. And hey, if you want to dive deeper, there's this classic book, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham,
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
full of timeless advice on how to invest wisely.
It's a must-read for anyone serious about investing.
Totally. And as you keep learning, remember this. The stock market is a reflection of our hopes and fears about the future.
Ooh, that's deep.
Right. Like, what do current trends tell us about where we're headed as a society?
That's a question worth pondering.
For sure. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the stock market.
It's been a pleasure.
And hey, if you, the listener, have any other topics you'd like us to tackle,
Send them our way.
we're always up for a challenge.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
See ya!